Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have AMUMU because once a low elo jungler, then a high elo support. However, even though he is still very, goated in the support position in high elo, he has been running over the low elos and mid MMRs with his jungling lately, and the buff to Jack show to do, bonus resistance amplification. We like that because he has max HP damage on his W that scales with AP, which means we can take something like, Demonics Embrace and burn people's souls. We also have the Sunfire, that does a lot of damage, and of course the Jack Show itemization, which means as we go in, we get stronger, and of course the resistances amplify our damage reduction on our E. So, 3 items, and an absolutely dominating 3-item spike. However, his weakness typically, even in high elo, actually, especially in high elo, not in low elo, well, it is there in low elo, just people don't really do it, is that he can be invaded, cheesed, and not have a good time. Now, what we do is we start top side here. You would have seen the runes. We don't go Aftershock. We are not support. We are a stacking Conqueror, drain tank, hybrid fighter thing. Yeah, something like that. So Conqueror, Treasure Hunter, Snowballing, you can go Ultimate Hunter still. I think most people, I would recommend that. And in low elo, I would still actually just recommend Aftershock. Although, the Conqueror 1v1 makes him a lot more potent. And the clear speed, as you can see, is not as weak as you might assume for something that I just said was really invadable. Now, the Shaco on the enemy team here, Shaq Nicholson, which is that's a damn good name. He's decided that he's not going to gank this because it's pushed up, and obviously in high elo you have to go, look, there's a Shaco. He's going to level 3 gank me bot lane if I push, therefore, let it push back. But the AMUMU knows this. He knows this. So if you can communicate to your bottom lane, guys, there's a Shaco, let it push. He's going to be forced to go to the opposite side of the map, probably gank top lane or even mid lane. What I'm going to do is full clear down by 320 in this particular, game, and just gank it first, which is exactly the kind of stuff you want to do. So when you're a jungler that could be invaded, look to path opposite, look to force them to be compromised in terms of their positioning, and obviously just make sure you get that 28 CS full clear plus grab. And Shaco does, of course, shove and forces the flash from Yasubi. We're going to finish this. Oh, yikes. You see, you don't really want to push that to the mid lane. You want to push it down. We do have 2 Q charges now, so we do hit the bandage toss. Who will win? And who... Yeah, so this is, we missed it. Okay, we're just going to flash and make sure we get the bandage head snap. Let's just hide the chat there. Wow. So, wow. Okay, wow. There you go. So, Virkayu, why do you recommend AMUMU as champion to play? Because apparently, that's wild. Like, and I kind of expect these things when you go into these videos because you're picking, games that follow champions where the player actually knows what to do on the champion. But at the same time, it's like there's still a hierarchy of meta and capabilities in terms of champions and high elo. And there you go. Conqueror, let's just have a look. It doesn't tell us. I wish it did. Look, I don't give a shit about the healing, right? I want to know the damage that was amplified. Oh well. Either way. The best thing they ever did to this champion was give him bandage toss ×2 and increase the range and the length. And the reason why that was so great is because it allowed the ability to have gap closer into stun, right? And of course, the range is always good for tower dives. But that's also why he became a support. And you've got to remember this little tantrum, this big old-fashioned slapperoo. That's a nice chunk of magic damage. I mean, that's 169, right? And obviously, that's going to go from 9 to 5-second cooldown, without haste, of course, being considered. That's a lot of damage that a tank can bring while also having damage reduction and doing max HP drain damage effectively is what it feels like. That's a lot for a champion to have in its kit when you think, oh, this is something that's weak in high elo and cannot be used. Look, end of the day, this is not some metamorphosis gameplay where I tell you that that AMUMU is now some dominating S+ high elo jungler. He's not. However, he is definitely playable, and for those of you looking to get diamond, you can definitely do it with this champion because of the fact the full clear or the ganking meta, whichever one you want to do, quadrant gank, full clear gank, it's all up to you. But you can actually beat people 1v1. Right? You can get invaded and beat certain champions 1v1 when they overestimate what they can do to an AMUMU that has Conqueror. And that's typically the thing. If you have Aftershock, no. But if you have Conqueror, more damage, more damage, more damage. You just keep draining them the whole time, excuse me. I mean, you just keep doing it. It's a toggle, obviously, and hence the mana intensity is something that we have to consider when we're kind of running around the jungle clearing, but you understand, right, the implications of what I'm saying. And we didn't even talk about the game-changing Giga Ultimate. So obviously we want to get 6 as soon as possible. We want to get a lead as soon as possible. And yes, we're still rushing Demonics. They're going to be nerfing the Demonics. So, Zach, AMUMU, Udyr, anyone who rushes this, Lilia, anyone who rushes this item will not have the same potency in subsequent patches. Diana as well, because it is kind of just too strong. When it's being rushed by everyone with Jack Shao, and they throw in the Sunfire to just do huge amounts of burn damage, it's just not something that's sustainable. Now, if you can full clear Crab, win a 1v1, maybe double Crab, see, that's the thing, right? The Shaco ganks mid lane, we see 24 or whatever, if you don't see 28, and you've already taken a scuttle, the other one is up. So you can out of base just go straight to that top one and then sequence again, which is exactly what we did in this particular case. And now, of course, you watch the bottom lane, you watch the mid lane, the Shaco also is going bottom to top, we're going top to bottom, and when you're going top to bottom and they're going bottom to top, and the sequencing is not compromised, or in this case, even if you wanted to change it and swap it, you killed him, so it doesn't really matter. It usually sets you up for an absolute free dragon. And here we go. That was just such a cool level 3. Just to see an AMUMU do that to a Shaco, I feel very fulfilled this evening. And the coaching channel is a Rengar Fiesta game that I had to kind of deal with. So he does hit the Q, he does hit the ult. We're going to follow up and hit the bandage toss. Yasubi is going to reposition, obviously, with the wind by his side. And we'll snack up another kill. So 2-on-1. This is, I think, a good realistic tempo for us, right? Full clear, 28 CS, get 2 ganks off, or at the very least get some form of action, right? Either it's an opportunistic invade on a jungle. You're not going to do it. That's what's opportunistic. In low elo, they'll gank, they'll get low, they'll go to Grump, and you can track, oh, look, you went to Grump, I'm AMUMU. Just hit the bandage toss, slap an E after you drain him a little bit with your W, and you get a free kill, right? It's more about, can I get 1 or 2 ganks pre-6? Can I sneak a dragon, which of course was pretty easy, and then you want to use your ultimate. Now, we have not used our ultimate, so in games where the bottom lane is more equal, what I want you to do is ensure that you use that ultimate on that lane, right? And if you can hit a bandage toss to burn flashes before you get 6, that's what we want to do. And obviously here, we're going to go to the mid lane, we're going to do that, we're going to go out of the mid lane to our top quadrant, we're going to finish this. If this is gankable, we can gank this first, or we can go back to base. Obviously, in this regard, it would leave the Herald open for possible snackage by the Shaco, so we do want to be careful about that. But at the same time, we've got no mid-prior at the current moment. We have in pocket, let's have a look here. Yeah, nothing's working. Can it work, please, right? Hold on, we'll get there we go. 4,000 cash monies total with 1,800 in pocket. So, yeah, this particular moment, 1,800 can be quite a lot of gold to just not use when it comes to PvP and fights. So what we'll do is we'll just shadow this, kind of have a look, clear the vision. That's always good. Go back to base. And now we have the demonics completed. Now again, the Jack Show is great as a second item. It's even better as a third item in a lot of cases. So you can think about flexing that. Now for me personally, I think while the demonics is great, if you're someone who's struggling to get high CSPM on AMUMU, you're struggling to kind of mesh those ganks, the 6s, and the farming, I would advise actually just going kind of like the bombies early. Here we go, over the wall, we're going to try save our ultimate, we're going to hit it on as much as we possibly can. The Leona and of course the Tristana is fine. We're going to burn them with our W, force the flashes out. Kaiser's able to get the kill here. The Shaker was attempting to make some sort of play, and because of that level 3 Scuttle Crab fight, which level 4 technically, it does so many things. So see, this is where things get a little iffy. All right, he had his red. We should have been F-king to see that he had his red. We should know that the red is down. We don't know necessarily that he's kept. It's fine. It's normal things for that to happen. But I want you to think about it. What did he just do? He counter-ganked to Shaker bottom lane here. Right? AMUMU's just left. Shaco's like, I'm gonna come back. He didn't realize the red was gone, obviously, at this particular moment. He should have realized those kinds of things. The Kaiser's gonna get some kills. They're gonna kill the Shaco. So this is a bot lane winning play by the AMUMU. Now, you might say, okay, look, his bottom lane's winning. Look, the reality of the situation is as follows. Are you ready for this truth bomb? I'll get to the AMUMU in a second with the tracking. When you have a bottom lane, and they lose, and you come into, comments and you say, look, every game a bottom lane feeds, it's always bottom lane gap. At one point or another, they may have been primed, based upon back timings, maybe 1 kill, maybe up 20, 30 CS, some small little advantage that they could have used to win a 3v3 with you and the jungler being present, or just a 3v2 if you're there and he isn't, right? Where were you in that particular moment? Were you making a better play somewhere on the map, or were you just sequencing? Now, yes, we're sequencing a lot in this game, but he's doing it he's doing quadrant clearing, right? He's doing quadrant clearing, which is essentially You know, you do a quadrant, you look up, you go back to base. I do a quadrant, oh, I look up, I gank, and then I can kind of fall back to something else. But he's doing the eyes up jungling approach we talked about in the video on the main channel last week, whereby, you know, we in theory wanted to do this blue side quadrant, but we saw the gank, so we reacted. We counter ganked, we used our ultimate, we got the cash money kills. We should have realized the red was gone, but we went looking for counter jungling. And if you have lost tracking or he's doing random things, it's okay to do that. We went mid lane for the Giga Alpha chat play, it didn't work out, should have. Once we see the Shaco go bottom lane again and die, we go straight into his jungle for the blue. If Grump is up and you can take it, take the Grump as well, and then we fall back to our red side and reset again. Really good eyes up jungling. He wasn't focused only on clearing the blue side, right? He fell up to the red side, looked up, nothing, and then just ran around the map based upon what the Shaco did and what was needed of him from his team. And from this, the bottom lane was able to completely snowball. We hit the Q over the wall there to get the super kill. We moved towards the wall to avoid any sort of unfortunate tower shots onto our mortal form. And we leave. The Shakos, like Shaq Nicholson obviously is good. It's just like the lack of activity early and then losing to the AMUMU early, basically, this always surprises people. I want you to understand that, yes, AMUMU is the thing that gets invaded, but if you don't, and you let him get level 4, and you try and fight him 1v1, in most cases you will be overconfident. You think, what are you doing, mommy? I will kill you. And then he kills you, and you're like, okay. I get that. I get it. And obviously in this particular case, in Mumu's case, where you want to max E, keep that toggle on for the duration of that fight, drip your acid tears of loneliness all over them, use your ultimate, which is called Curse of the Sad Mummy. Wow, I knew that. I swear to God I knew that, because of course there was a song released way back when they actually made, you know, content. I look forward to more content. I really do. Especially next year's cinematic, excuse me. This is good as well. Like, right, we're thinking of going to the blue side quadrant here, sitting on our gold, not waiting for the red. We're going to go do the blue side quadrant, but we recognize, look, we're being a little bit silly at this particular moment. It's almost 14 minutes. We need to activate the herald. We want the cash money blades. There's a lot of activity here. Cut down and move in shadow and join the wave. Activate the herald in time. Smash. Free gold. Most low elo junglers won't do this. Gragas is hidden OP, by the way. I want everybody in the jungle who is... If you're a D2 plus right now, please learn Gragas. You can do so much damage to meta champions with this guy. His disruption and obviously his damage is literally insane. It's really ridiculous. Go play jungle Gragas a few games. If you want to go full damage, go Night Harvester. Like with Nidalee. Okay, there's a clip in the champion pool video that I've just uploaded, or will be uploading to the main channel right now, and I put it in the intro where she just chucks a spin literally 100% to 0 and Ashe. That's season 3, season 4 mid lane Nidalee stuff. The Night Harvester does the same thing for the Gragas when he has a lead. It's been a long time since we've been able to see that, really. And for good reason, it's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I play Zarya, you know, so I'm rushing the Zhonya's and the Banshee's Veil, and the Leandras and the Demonics, and I'm probably going Night Harvester too, just to have more HP and more rotation on the haste. I just getting as tanky as I can against the spears and the barrels of doom. So, Gragas. But also AMUMU. If you play support and you also play jungle, and you kind of don't like the jungle pool, but you're really damn good at AMUMU, play it. Also, this skin is cute as hell. Look at this. Look at this. You get to spill tea on everybody. Always must stomper, super good, super tanky. Tenacity is always nice. What everybody's afraid of. Victor does nothing, Victor does nothing, Victor does nothing. The jungler for Victor complains that Victor doesn't roam. Victor says, shut up, give me blue. Jungler says, no, smites it away. Victor says, to hell with you. Goes back to the mid lane. Victor does nothing. And then Victor gets a triple kill. And you're like, about that time. I'm right, yeah? Yeah, I'm right. I'm right about that, because that's always what Victors do. They absolutely piss useless, and then they just kill everybody. Well, that's expected. So, what's the important thing that we're learning right now? Firstly, Kai'Sa gave a shutdown. It's a lot of gold swing. We also have to make sure that, we went for the Jack Show second, by the way. We need to ensure that we are the ones that maintain the level, all right? Keep your quadrant clearing up. Keep your control up. Get into the... Like, you can... There's no reason you can't go into... I mean, that E. What's the drain? Obviously, we have the... I don't care if we die. It's totally worth it. But Gragas! Gragas! Oh my goodness gracious. Conqueror. Conqueror healing as well. Look at it go. I mean... The total healing, the sort of drain tank of phenomenon that we have in this champion, ooh, it's beautiful. We have the Gnar chasing the Tristana here. I'll get back to the AMUMU in a second. Can we get the kill? So generous and kind. Okay, we join the AMUMU again. We're not going to push a tower. That is not something we're not particularly good at, although you can. It's worth noting a couple of things about the kit that we haven't yet covered. That E, when you are attacked, the cooldown gets reduced. Also, the passive converts into 10% bonus true damage. Don't believe me, huh? True damage from the AMUMU kit. Max HP, AP damage, true damage, resistance, scaling, damage reduct, plus an AoE ultimate that changes the nature of the game. If you can get beyond the first clear, the early clear, get to 6, and jungle with a clinical quadrant clearing psychology of counter jungling and of course counter ganking as well as proactive ganking, you really can actually have a really good package here. But again, you are still a tank, you are still something that's going to need, I mean, what am I kidding? It's straight up fighter at this point. You're not a tank anymore. I mean, Mundo's a tank. Ornn is it? I mean, Mundo's also a kind of a fighter, but like, you know what I mean? He's a meat shield buffy boy. I mean, Ornn is a tank. 33 seconds on the ultimate. We're going to go in over here with the bandage toss. We've got the tantrum going. We're going to flash out here, get the triumph proc, the healing from the Conqueror, which we can look at in a second. Should be close to 600 right now. 595. I like it when my brain works. I like it when my brain works good. Yeah, because sometimes it doesn't. I know sometimes, obviously, because we're trying to speak in, you know, real time and trying to analyze at the same time, get that fusion of edutainment. But, you know, you miss things sometimes, and sometimes you kind of choose to focus on one thing over another. In this particular regard, that's very nicely done as well. Q, smack the E, keep the W draining, and now stop the draining. As soon as Camille goes in on us, obviously we don't have bombies to take aggro at this point, so we stop bleeding all over again. We hit the bandage toss again. Stay in front of her, stay in front of her, stay in front of her. Keep going with your W. Use your E whenever it's up as she attacks you, and of course your W, as your Q recharges, you hit that as well. That's an important thing that people don't realize. When AMUMU is hit by an attack, the ability cooldown is reduced by 0.75 seconds, and it's already at 4.17 seconds. So when you attack him and it comes up more, and then he just does more damage. It's really a nice little kit, and that's why he's so good in support, because base value is just good and efficient. Now we've gone in for the Sunfire. Now what this allows us to do, obviously, is deal even more damage. That also scales with HP, and we have a lot of HP, obviously. But at the same time, I do feel like if you're, again, a lower elo AMUMU, the Demonics plus the Sunfire combo, still good, still goated, and great for clearing a little bit faster when you don't exactly see or trust your teammates. In a game that was a little bit more negative, maybe, I would have definitely wanted the Sunfire a bit earlier, or at least the Bombies, just so I could quickly rotate while still keeping my tempo and my econ up, right? Because if it takes a little bit longer to farm, it's not a big deal, but add up each quadrant over the course of a game, valuable seconds to rotate. But again, if you can move into their jungle, and you can solo kill a Shaker or an enemy jungler, then you're probably looking at a decently viable champion. I think it's something that very often, I don't know what Leon is doing there. I'm trying to think of something to say, but it's just, don't walk there when you're losing this hard. I think it's something that will be underestimated a lot. Just like we saw early with the Conqueror is the thing that just unleashes the scaling adaptive force plus the healing, even though it's not giga huge. It's more than meaningful in those close scenarios. And the Triumph proc is now 1700, right? 1700 health restored. So that's all you're basically looking to do this whole time with this champion. Aftershock is great to hit, but the thing about AMUMU, the thing about the AMUMU with the Aftershock is that you use it, right? And you get the Aftershock perk, but if you hit a beautiful ultimate, like AoE 5-man, no one's hitting you. Like, no one is attacking you. So the Aftershock damage reduction is and the damage with it is kind of nice, but you know, you're not really getting the full value after the Aftershock, but it's also the whole entire tree. What do we get from the whole entire tree? We get the Last Stand. We get the Tenacity. Obviously nerfed, but still good. We have the Moss Dumper to add to that as well. Triumph proc gives us like 1700 HP restored in the course of low HP fights because of the fact that we're absorbing everything. These things add together, my friends. They add together. Even though the numbers might be small or look a little bit weird in certain regards, they add up a lot. Here we go. We're going to go with the Leona going in. Repositioning doesn't really matter. Stick to the target here. We see that on the back line. We're going to have to deal with that. We're going to burn all of the Leona and kill her. We need to peel that Kai'Sa, so we go back in here. The box hits us. Shago chucks something at us. We're going to hit the Q, miss the Q because, of course, he's going AP, so that's more damage there. He's going to go back into the fight. We don't have ult anymore, obviously. Charge is coming up soon, TM. 3, 2, 1. We have a charge now. Okay, well, that was the clone. But not much we can do. We could toggle our Tantra, but why? I mean, just keep... Okay, there we go. All right, it's finished. They chased all the way down here. At least the support is doing a good job of peeling for the Kaiser. And it's against a Victor. I mean, oh man, Victor, you see what I'm saying? Ult's up again. Literally, it's up again. And AMUMU in the meantime, right? Junglers, this is what something's also a bit of a skill. And I covered this, I think, was it? It was a VOD review I did for someone in coaching. Links below for coaching. It was a silver VOD review, I think. The guy actually had a really good game. And then what happened was he allowed his team to win because he was winning, right? And all of a sudden, someone's splitting on the top side, and you know their whole team sends 4 people to his guy on the top side. And instead of just saying, "Well, look, you know, if you win that, cool. If you don't, doesn't matter," because I would have gotten like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cams, literally, plus split pushing away from the bottom side. You know, you could get 50 CS leads by basically saying, "Okay, look, if they die, they die. If they win, thumbs up. But what could I do regardless? Well, I can take this, I can push this, I can take all of this, and then I can shadow Baron if they win. Or if you can solo Baron. I mean, depending on your champion, of course. So if you rotate to the scenario thinking, I must help my Kaiser versus Victor, you lose so much tempo. Even if you kill him, there's so many things you could have taken that you didn't. And the AMUMU here, yes, it's a little bit slow to end. What he's doing is saying, listen, guys, I'm going to make the right play, the right engage, the right ultimate, the right peel, and you guys can run around and have fun and troll and fight and chase. I'm just going to do the things that stop them getting cash money, give me cash money, and allow us to end the game. And it's a mentality I think most of us need to have, right? We do want 16 before we kind of go for the final fight here. I think that's something to think about. Again, we're 3 levels up on the Shaker anyway. So if we're going to do this, we could have gone Krugs into Raptors, but that would put us a little bit behind where the rest of our team is moving. So we kind of just shadow down, take Raptors so we can stay at least within touching distance. If you do Krugs, Raptors here, you're going to be too far behind. Way too far behind. Okay, so Victor's splitting on the bottom side, splitting on the bottom side, excuse me. Gragas goes for the combo with the Yasubi. We have the kill there from the Kaiser ulting to the backline. Tank everything if you're the AMUMU. Tank as much as you can. Obviously, you're not as super tanky. We do hit that one there. The clone has hit us. But it looks like a pretty standard steamroll. So, I wanted something that showcased AMUMU not as someone who's going to win a 45-minute team fight because he pressed R. That's why everyone thinks he's terrible at the game. That's why everyone thinks he's a support. And of course, his kit does allow him to be better as a support in high elo. But, if you have the right pathing, the right strategies, you can definitely have a lot of success with this champion in every single elo. However, at the end of the day, you are still AMUMU. People will still kite you out. People are not going to give you as free games here as a Master Tier as they would a Grandmaster Challenger, right? You're gonna run into limitations without a doubt. I'm just showcasing if a dude can win with this champion repeatedly in Master Tier, you can probably get Diamond with him, and you can definitely get Gold with him. Agreed? Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. A little bit of a fun one. We've had a lot of long, serious games recently. You know, it's important to remember that you can snowball and end games because this is the goal. The goal is to shadow, support, gank, snowball, and win. Go next, get your 5 games done, and climb. If you're always having 35 minutes to 45 minutes games, you're lacking the closer mentality and you're making mistakes. So look at your VODs, figure out why those games happen, because that's not the normal. You don't want to say, how do I win a 45-minute game? You want to say, how do I win a 45-minute game in 25 minutes? That's the question. You got to ask the right one. So thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial. And to start off for Season 13, I will be hosting another bootcamp with Coach Kybert for laners and junglers and for every single role. Topics on your screen now starts end of January 30th. Basically, we're going to be covering everything in this video in depth related to you, giving you some active examples, some drills, everything to make you a better League of Legends player as a whole, all through a really in-depth 2-week bootcamp from January 30th onward. And additionally, I will be raffling off a $400 coaching package to a lucky winner who subscribes in the first 100 tickets, which means a further 4 hours of coaching directly with me, all free for you after the bootcamp is finished. And overall, the bootcamp is just chocked full of absolute free coaching, free VOD reviews, Q&As. We have 10 different sessions for you from myself and Coach Kybert. We have other challenger coaches on call. Essentially, you're looking at something like 30 coaching sessions for the price of 1, all within a community hosted by Gosu Academy. So click the link in the description below, sign up, join the Discord, and I will see you all there to learn everything you need to know about Season 13 jungling and laning so that you can climb to your ranked goals and beyond.